What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and we are now quite a few days into the first week of the War Within, and you're probably out there if you're doing professions, for example, farming or gathering, or farming or crafting, there we go. You're probably out there thinking to yourself, there's a lot of weekly things I need to do, especially if you have multiple characters. There's a bunch of weekly activities to do. For example, gather the knowledge points from treasures or dirt, then you have your weekly quest, you have your crafting orders. There's a lot to do with professions on a weekly basis and overall, and it can get hard to keep track of. Now for me, I usually use Google spreadsheets, which is kind of nice to do, but it's an outside source of WoW to keep track of your characters. Now there's an in-game add-on that does basically the same thing that I'm using my spreadsheets for, that I want to let you guys know about. It's an add-on that I'm quite fascinated by, and I think it's a good, very clean, very simple add-on, and I'm very happy it's out there. So for this one, we're talking about the weekly knowledge add-on. So once again, you can see right here where I'm supposed to open it. Weekly knowledge, that's the name, and you can see it at the top here as well, at the top of the bar. Weekly knowledge. So go to CurseForge, search that up if you want to have it. Weekly knowledge. Now what this one does is that it goes through all of your characters with the War Within professions and tells you the professions they have, the skill they have, the knowledge they have, the uniques they have, treatises they've done, artisans they've done, and the art treasures as well. Now it even keeps track of trainer and like the trainer gathering quests, right, or the trainer quests you've done on those characters, and also the gathering. So if you've done your gathering quest, for example, so here you can see we have gathering 6 out of 6, gathering 6 out of 6, that is for enchanting in this case, which should be more than 6 by the way, where it's 6 items and 9 knowledge points, there we go, and then trainer 0 out of 1 item, 0 out of 6 knowledge points. But going down, you can see all of them. You can see which ones you've done the treatise on, which is perfect, or treatise, whatever. So you can see exactly which one you've done those on. You can see which ones you have done the treasures on, which I've only done on 2, but you can see all of them, and it just keeps track of all of your professions in a very neat order. Now once again, it also shows you the profession knowledge that you have, so you can see which ones you have a lot of knowledge on, and which ones you are maybe missing a little bit on, which is just great. It's a very good overview to have of all of your characters on a weekly knowledge basis. So you can see exactly the uniques, the items that you've gotten, what you are missing, and some of them you have 13 uniques on. So you can see how many you've done, how many you're missing, and you can even see what you are missing. So on my character, for example, we're missing a couple of items, and 2 of them comes from treasures, and 1 of them is from the artisan. So artisan is 1, and then treasures. Artisan for me is alchemy, and then 2 treasures. And then we're on 9 of 13. So when you're on 13 out of 13, then you're fine and good to go. So definitely if you have a lot of characters like me, but even if you just have a few, this is just a super easy add-on to have, and it's super well organized and helps you keep track of your characters from one screen, instead of having to log back and forth and think about what you've done, or write it down on a separate spreadsheet or a notepad. You can see which characters have done the treatises from this add-on, so I can now effectively remove 2 pages, like both treatises and treasures, from my spreadsheet. Now the one thing this add-on doesn't track, which is important to note for knowledge points in general, is crafting orders. Now you have access to crafting orders and patron orders in the War Within, and a lot of the patron orders gives you knowledge points. Now on this character I've already done most of them, but we have a couple of them, so this one for example I cannot make, but as you can see, gives knowledge points. So it's important that even if you're using an add-on like this, it only tracks the quote-unquote bare bones for crafting. A lot of knowledge points, and I mean between 8 and 14, can be gotten from doing crafting orders. Exactly how many you get is very RNG, because first of all, the rewards themselves are RNG, and then where they go is also RNG. So one of my blacksmiths, for example, got all of the knowledge points except for 1 on items, like recipes I don't have, so I couldn't make them. So on one of my blacksmiths, I got 2 knowledge points from doing as many recipes or orders as I can. On the other one, I got 8. So it seems to be very RNG how many you get, but doing crafting orders is very important for crafting. That being said, the other add-on we talked about It's very good for farming, gathering characters like that, and just keeping track. Like treatise tracking is great, treasure tracking also great, and then it gives you the 9 out of 13 uniques as well, so you know that when you're on 13, you are good, you've done everything. And for example, for Psych Me Out here for enchanting, we are on 9 out of, we can go to alchemy, we are on 9 out of 13, and you can see where the last 3 are. The last ones are from artisans and treasures. And then we're there. Then we're on 11 at least, which then we're lacking 2. So you can get 2 more for alchemy. But when you're on 13 of 13, you know you're good to go. And basically when everything is green, you are good to go. Now another add-on that is really good to have here, and I made a separate video talking about this add-on in general yesterday, but just in case this is the first video you're watching from me or you just didn't watch the one from yesterday, well, Craft Sim. Craft Sim is absolutely great to have for crafting professions, and you can use it to, for example, simulate crafts. I'm not going to go through the entire add-on, because once again we had the video yesterday talking about this, but simulation mode lets you know the expected output of your current craft based on the quality of the reagent that you are using. So you can simulate the craft before buying the materials, so you don't waste gold on buying a Q3 material if you can't even get to the quality you want to be at. So you know exactly what quality to buy before even going to the auction house, and you don't have to have them in your bags. In addition to that, you have specialization info to see exactly what you benefit from, like which knowledge points you benefit from and what talent trees to go for, or knowledge trees to go for the spec or the craft you're going for. Then it also tracks your concentration, which is good to have. So these 2 add-ons in general, Craft Sim plus weekly knowledge, those 2 are absolutely insane, and they're so good for professions, both crafting, like the other one is good for farming as well, or gathering, but Craft Sim is BIS when it comes to crafting, and then weekly knowledge is BIS when it comes to just knowing the sources of weekly knowledge and keeping track of it. Now, while we're talking about the weekly knowledge points and the weekly knowledge tracker, when it comes to the treasures, they can be quite hard to find. So a couple of advice here, which might, it might be good, might be bad, but a couple of advice that I've picked up is number 1, farm them in ringing deeps. That's advice number 1. So you can either farm them by just flying up and down and gathering any treasures that you find. Alternatively, you can also farm in Hallowfall around this place, so like west of the map of Hallowfall. You can farm it here as well in a circular fashion. I found a bunch of chests in that location, but they only seem to be hyper spawning when a lot of people are farming at the same time. So this one is great, just farm around the city. Alternatively, Ashkahet is really underrated. I find lots of spindles in Ashkahet, which gives you those knowledge points. So you can either fly laps around Ashkahet, or go down to here. Around this place you will have a lot of rares and a lot of treasures in one condensed area. So this place is good, the entirety of Ashkahet is good, and because most people tell you to go to Ringing Deeps, there's a lot of people farming treasures in the Ringing Deeps, so doing a different zone like Ashkahet might actually be more beneficial, because there's less people farming. Either way, that's the video, so hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully one of those 2 add-ons helps you out in your War Within adventures. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it. I will see you all again in the next video very soon. Bye bye.